Electronisounds Audio, the YouTube channel for you.
Hey, what's happening, friends? It's Dean from Electronisounds. For those of you who don't already know, I make sound banks for the Electron Digitakt. In fact, I've got 14 individual sound banks for the Digitakt. I've got a Series 1 with 7 packs, and I've also got a Series 2 with another 7 packs. Now, Electron have been updating the Digitakt and also their transfer software that we use to get samples into the Digitakt. And that's rendered my original installation files for the Series 1 packs obsolete. In this video, I'm going to go over the brand new and updated way to install these banks into your Digitakt. Come on, let's get into this. Okay guys, now as a sample maker and as a sound designer, I have completely fallen in love with the Electron Digitakt, but I do find that it comes lacking with some sound content. Now you can save and store up to 2048 sound presets inside of the Digitakt. And how many do they give you to start with? 64. You heard me right. You can store 2048 sound presets inside of the Digitakt, and they start you off with 64. So let's say you're scrolling for a sound, right? And you want to replace the sound on your first pad, and you hit the function, and you hit the sound browser level knob up here, and you start scrolling through the included sound presets that gave you. And you're like, oh, this is pretty awesome. All right, there's all kind of sounds here. And then you get to 64 and it stops. And you think, well, surely there must be more presets than this included. But there are not. So how cool would it be, friends, if suddenly you had 128 kick drums in Bank B to scroll through and choose from? And what if you had 128 snare drums inside of Bank C to scroll through and pick from? And what if you had 128 hi-hat samples inside of Bank D to scroll through and pick from? And what if on Bank E, you had 128 percussion and effects noises, which you could easily scroll through, preview, and pick from? And what if, on Bank F, you had 128 melodic, playable sounds made from custom single-cycle waveforms? And what if, on Bank G, you had 128 more playable, melodic sounds that were made from custom one-shot samples? And finally, what if on Bank H, friends, if you had 256 custom, unique samples that are made for lo-fi dub music? That's right, friends. Over 1,000 new sounds can be yours super quickly, super easily, and I'm going to show you how to install them. Okay, so I've got the most recent version of the transfer software installed and open, and I've got the most recent firmware installed on the Digitakt. I've got my Digitakt powered on, and I'm connected to my Mac via USB. The next step is going to be to make sure that you've got the folder downloaded of the packs that you want to install in the Digitakt, and that you've got it unzipped and ready to go. Here I've got the folder for the Series 1 bundle, and I've got two folders inside of that. We've got a folder for the samples, and we've got another folder for the sound presets. What we're going to do is we're going to drop the samples first into the transfer app. We've got the app open, and we're just going to go to the second tab. We're going to go to the Explore tab inside of the transfer app. And over here, we've got two panes. We've got a pane on the left, that's your computer, and we've got a browser pane on the right, and that's the internal hard drive of the Digitakt. Okay, so here we've got the download of the Series 1 bundle. There's two folders, samples and sound presets. We're dropping the samples first. So we're going to go in to that folder of samples, and in this folder, we've got all of the individual packs of samples. I'm just going to highlight all of those packs, and I'm going to drag them directly into the right browser panel here, which is the internal hard drive of your Digitakt. Now, there's over 1,000 sounds for it to install and process, so this is going to take a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and speed this up until we've got all of the samples transferred over to the Digitakt. Now that we've got all of the samples on the hard drive of your Digitakt, it's time to install the sound presets now. We need to use the left browser pane of the transfer app to do this. We're going to go ahead and navigate to wherever that folder you downloaded of the packs is. So we've got that folder in the left browser pane here. There's, again, two folders here, one for samples, which we've already got on the hard drive, and the next folder for sound presets. We're going to go ahead and open up that folder, and inside that folder there are 7 individual folders of sound presets. Now this is key because you can install the presets into any of the banks in your Digitakt that you choose. I really like to put the kick drums in bank B, the snare drums in bank C, the hats in bank D, the percussion in bank E, the single sampled melodic sounds rather in bank F, the percussion on bank G, and the lo-fi dub pack on bank H. But you can put these in whichever order of the banks that you decide. We're going to go ahead and do the prime kicks sound presets first. So I'm going to go ahead and open up that folder, which at first click looks like it's an empty folder, but it's not. All we need to do is go to the right-hand browser panel of the transfer app, and instead of choosing samples in the drop-down window, we just need to pick sounds. And now the sound presets of all the kick drums are going to show up in the left-hand panel. Now I can go ahead and highlight all of these. And what we can do is just make sure that we've got the bank selected on the right-hand side. You see we've got bank A here, bank B, C, D, E, right? So you can choose whichever bank you want to drop these sound presets in. I'm going to drop them into bank B so they don't mess with any of the factory presets of the Digitakt. And I'm just going to grab all of these. I'm going to put them starting on sound slot number 1, and then it's going to bring up a dialog now and ask me about the samples specifically. We've already dragged and dropped the samples, so we don't need to worry about importing any samples during this phase. We're just going to leave it selected at import only missing samples, and we're going to click next. Here we can just leave this completely blank and just click OK. We want to import only missing samples. We're going to go ahead and just click this apply to all button at this time so that it doesn't keep asking us for each individual sound preset. All right, and here we go. It's now installing all 128 sound presets for the kick drums into bank B on the Digitakt. It's going to take a little bit of time to get all of these presets installed here, and we'll go ahead and do one more pack of the sound presets today as well to make sure that you really get this process. I'm going to go ahead and wait until these are finished installing, and there we go. Now I'm just going to go back here, and we're going to go ahead and install the prime snares this time. I'm going to select bank B to put the prime snares sound presets in, and I'm going to highlight the first one. I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, and I'm going to hold shift down, select all of these presets, and I'm going to drag and drop them over to sound slot starting on. So you can start on any sound slot you want here. I'm going to make sure that while I'm holding the mouse down, that I drop them on sound slot number 1. So they'll start in the first position. Here, it's going to ask us about the samples again, but we've already imported the samples, so we don't need to worry about this. We're just going to leave it on import only missing samples and click next. But in this next step, we're now going to just go ahead and click apply to all and click OK. Now it's installing all of the snare drum presets onto bank C in the transfer app here. That's all you need to do. You just need to continue doing this for the rest of the banks of sound presets that you've got. If you purchased the entire bundle, thanks for your support. And I hope that you get a lot of fresh inspiration from these new sounds.